Alsace, France. An epic journey through time, castles, and vineyards awaits the 4,800 participants of Trail Alsace Grand Est by UTMB, one of the 5 French events of the UTMB World Series, the world's ultimate trail running circuit. Well, I'm eager to finally start. It's cool, the weather's incredible, and there seems to be a great atmosphere. So we're going to enjoy ourselves on the course. I want to see all your arms in the air. All arms in the air. Come on, one more time. And with the spectators too. Everybody with the arms up. And let's clap our hands.
It's the first race of the season, so you never really know, but I think I feel good and I'm excited to just give it everything I have.
4 minutes. 3 minutes to go, everybody.
Louder, louder, Bar. You have put a lot of effort to shine today from the first runner to the last, so I'm counting on you.
Mathieu
Pettinotti. I'm the technical director and founder of this event. Here we are in the Vosges Massif. We are in the mid-mountains. You will mainly run through dense forest and then some sections through vineyards because we are in a wine region. Then there are the passages through the small, picturesque villages and castles, this magnificent castle heritage unique in the world. There will be more than 20 castles over the racecourse. There will be, of course, the 23 castles, mainly from the 12th century, that we will find along the course. 2 castles open to the public, the Hollandsburg and the Haut-Koenigsbourg, one of the 10 most visited castles in France, which has hosted several film shoots in recent years. And the Mont Saint-Odile, so the Saint-Odile Abbey, which this year is run through by the 100-mile runners, which is an exclusive feature for this edition, allowing for a somewhat spiritual experience. Once again, this medieval aspect was important to keep around the history of the region, especially since knights and trail runners, I think, share many values. Mutual aid, the sisterhood, the brotherhood among runners. And so it was important for us to bring these medieval values to the forefront, to see today's trail runners as modern-day knights. Now in its second edition, the Trail Alsace Grand Est by UTMB welcomes runners from 65 different countries over 4 race formats. While the stormy nights add to the mystical atmosphere of the course, the events at the Ultra Trail Village take runners and their families right back to the Middle Ages.
I'm Marinka, I'm 36 years old, I'm from the Netherlands. Yeah, I'm running the 50K, so it's the TDC. It sounded like a really nice challenge to do this year. I ran the 25K last year in Snowdonia, and it was such a nice race to do. It was a great experience, and this year I wanted to do something a little closer to home. So that's why I picked the race over here in the Alsace. For me, it's my first 50K, so it's just going to be an adventure, and that's the way I plan it. I try to train as much as I could, as well as I could. I'm hoping to finish within 7 hours. I really don't know what time I'll end up at. It's beautiful out here.
Donc cette année, on fait 4 formats de course.
So this year we actually have 4 race formats. A 100-miler, then a beautiful 100-kilometer, which starts from Orschweiler, heading to Obernai, and a 50K and a 20K to welcome those new to the discipline. Featuring 50 kilometers and 2,000 meters of elevation gain, the Trail Alsace sets off from Bar. After leaving the wine trails, the course goes into the forest to reach the first of the 7 castles crossed by the course, before discovering the Mont Saint-Odile, an emblematic site of the region. Over the next 16 kilometers, runners skirt alongside other castles to move away from the plateau of the ferries and regain the legendary atmosphere of the Elves until the summit of Heidenkopf. After this last difficulty, the course goes through the vineyards and towards the city of Rosheim, a last stretch of 7 kilometers to cross the finish line on the ramparts of Obernai. The sporting challenge is always present, and we're happy this year to have a very strong lineup. In fact, the 50-kilometer will have the densest field of athletes. That's really where most of the action will happen, sportingly speaking. Winner of the 50K at the inaugural 2023 edition, to the surprise of his competitors, Gregory Basilico is back to defend his title. Indeed, yes, I was registered for the 20K, but this year there's a lot of depth in the start list for the 50K, which is the race of the weekend. So that made me change my mind because I also like a good battle. So I said, okay, let's go for the 50K, let's take a risk. And like last year, I'm quite far down the list of favorites. But it's a great challenge, and I'm ready to duke it out. My name is Gregory Basilico. I'm 37 years old. I'm a versatile runner, whether on road, track, or trail, and particularly in Spartan races. Yes, tomorrow. So I know there are 2 Kenyans who will start. We have to be wary of these 2 runners who train at altitude. So I think they're going to be formidable competitors, definitely.
Okay, I'm Sammy. I'm 24 years old. I'm an athlete. I train in Kenya at a place called E10, the home of champions. This is my first time to be in Europe, in France, Alsace, for 50 kilometers.
My name is Chef Tomy. I'm from Kenya. I've been training with under Coach Julian.
So the idea behind creating the team was to make a team different from the others because in Kenya, there are many road teams. The original idea of guiding Kenyans on the trail, I found it cool. It also gives these young people other opportunities who would otherwise face enormous competition on the road. And also, I think it's cool to include everyone because we saw there are a lot of Asians, Americans, Europeans, but not many Africans, if any. So I think it's great. I feel like we've come full circle. Now all continents are represented.
For the rest of my participants, I wish them success and good luck for tomorrow.
The competition for the 50-kilometer podium promises to be tough among top elite runners. The level will be very, very high, but I'm really happy because ultimately that is what makes the race beautiful. If you're alone, it's less fun, especially off-season. So I have my plan with my pace to keep my rhythm, and I'll try to ignore the rest. And then not be afraid to take risks at the beginning of the course if necessary.
Je m'appelle Marie Goncalves, j'ai 26
My name is Marie Goncalves. I'm 26 years old. I'm an athlete with the A6 Trail team, and besides that, I'm a law student. I'll be a lawyer by the end of the year. I have always been a runner. I come from track and cross country. And then during COVID, I saw an ad for the Trail Elite Factory on social media. It's a talent scouting program for young talents. I signed up completely by chance because I didn't do trail running. I won on the selection day and I won the final. And that's how it all started. I signed my first pro contract and now this is my 4th year with ASICS. In my competitions, I write myself little notes. For example, at the beginning, it's little notes like, have fun. And as the race goes on, these notes become tougher and encourage me. In the end, it will be more like, come on, you're doing it. Okay, it's hard, but it's now. I think it's really personal, but for me, it's really what helps. In writing it down, I encourage myself and it feels good. In any case, it works well for me.
My strategy was pretty much to be conservative in the beginning and run within myself. I didn't want to go out too hard and then suffer in the back end of the course. So I ran with Marie in the first uphill and we were having a really fun time and I actually thought like, wow, this is so much fun. I've missed racing. Like back, forth, taking the lead, each of us. So that was really, really cool. Before I started racing a lot internationally, like this distance and this kind of terrain was totally my thing. So it almost felt like coming back to my roots. Like really runnable, fast kind of terrain was really what I loved, and I still love it. It felt really nice to come back to something that I started with and feel those sensations again. And I've really missed it. Like, it's so different from running long and running huge mountains. And I think I maybe prefer it, but let's see.
My name is Diane Racineux. I'm 25 years old. I'm from Lyon. I'm part of the ASICS I Run trail team and I work for Enedis. The first part will be about running my own race and trying not to blow up. It's a new distance for me, so I don't want to start too fast and have a bad race. I'm really going to focus, stay in my bubble for at least the first 3 climbs, and then see if I have the legs to push more towards the end. Interview before the 100 kilometers. I have runner experience indeed, but I'm much more used to shorter distances, 30, 40, 50 kilometers. A few months ago, one of my best friends suggested I register for the UTMB Grand Est, but for the 50-kilometer distance. And when we wanted to sign up, there were no more spots. So he said, well, what do we do? So we signed up for the 100K. The 100-kilometer race, named the Ultra Trail des Païens, starts in the picturesque village of Orschwiller, nestled between mountains and vineyards, and home to the famous Haute-Koenigsborg Castle. Thomas is at the start line of his first 100-kilometer distance.
On est là, jour J, jour de la course.
Here we are, race day. Let's say I feel good, but I'm a little scared, I won't lie. But there's no turning back now. It's on. We'll start in about 35 minutes, I'd say.
Là, je vous présente du coup Pierre.
Let me introduce you to Pierre, who'll be providing our race support, and Laure and Luca. Luca is my pacer for the race, and Laura is pregnant with their little girl who will arrive very soon. So yeah, Luca is running for his little girl. He's determined. As for the race, like I said, I'll try to run a large part of it with one of my best friends who I introduced earlier. The goal is to start slowly, really taking it easy. We'll go at a relaxed pace until Bar, a bit past the halfway mark at 63 kilometers. The idea is to get there between 7, 8, 9 p.m., and my family and friends will be there to support and fuel us. After that, we'll tackle the night section, hoping it doesn't rain too much.
Objectif, podium.
The goal? Podium. No. Actually, we thought it would be cool to finish in under 20 hours. But we'll see. There's no strict time goal. The idea is to manage the race well. We're entering a big unknown, so taking it easy and just aiming to finish. That's the main objective. Runners are about to start their mystical journey. 116 kilometers and 4,200 meters of elevation gain through natural and historical wonders, with over 20 castles from the Middle Ages on their path. You're going to pass by castles. You'll discover beautiful landscape, rich history, and amazing volunteers. So please, wave 3. Let's take the oath here at Orschwiller to finish at Obernai. Here we go, 100 kilometers. Easy. For now, we're smiling, and we'll try to keep it throughout the race. On the 50K race, the competition has been fierce right from the start. The small pack with Anthony Felber, Sammy Chelangat, and Kipsang Cheboy are staying close together, while the gap is widening with Gregory Basilico in 4th place. I had planned to take the lead of my group. I thought it would start very fast with the Kenyan runners, who are much faster than us in flat terrain. But in the end, I found myself in front, and they were on my heels. It was my race strategy to take the lead, so I wasn't too worried. I tried to push as much as possible to gradually thin out the runners. So we quickly found ourselves down to 4 with the 2 Kenyan runners and Gregory Basilico, who finished first last year. I saw that Gregory was falling a bit behind. I decided to test and see if the terrain would favor them. So, at each challenging descent, I checked if the 2 runners were comfortable on the more technical and muddy parts. Thinking, you never know, you have to give it all in this race. It went well up to kilometer 20. We were still the 3 of us together. They were right on my heels, not wanting to let me go. The first 20 kilometers went by incredibly fast.
Yeah, it started fast, and we went up together the first hill in a group of 4 persons. Yes, my name is Benedikt Hoffmann. I'm 39 years old and I'm a professional trail runner. I'm part of the Essex Trail team and I come from Germany. I'm also since a long time in the German national team of mountain and trail running. At the first aid station on the top, I had a gap then, and maybe a gap of 20 seconds, and I have to manage the race for my own for a while. That was maybe not too bad, because I could do my own pace, and that was important for the last part of the race, I think.
I think we started a bit faster than planned. Meg took a strong lead in the first climb, and for this race, I decided to be bold and to go for it. So I really pushed at the start of the descent to catch up with her. And then I was on a roll. And when I passed her, I had good rhythm and kept going. It wasn't planned to take the lead so early in the race, but I'm glad I dared at the moment. Marie Goncalves is keeping the lead in the race, but second place is far from being set.
And then in my mind, I've done a lot of mental preparation with trying to stay focused and not letting things bother me or get too distracted. So I was really practicing that, especially with the mud. When it got super muddy, I was like, no, don't get distracted, stay focused. So that was really good practice, actually, for the rest of the season to try and implement the strategies that I've been working on. I loved the uphills. I think I ran pretty strong on the ups, and then mostly on the downhills, especially in the mud, I suffered a bit. I just tried to stay with my head in the game and not give up until it was the finish line.
Megan, du coup, me double dans cette première bosse.
Megan passed me in the first climb towards Mont Saint-Odile. Well, I remained calm and tried to stick to my pace because I knew the difference in level was such that I couldn't keep up in the climb. But I saw I could catch up in the descent, so I enjoyed the descent, caught up with her, and Megan passed me again in the climb.
Et troisième descente, je me dis bon bah c'est reparti.
In the third descent, I thought, here we go again, and I pushed again. I descended quickly and then I fell, but not too badly, but I did hit my shin. I was a bit tense and thought about quitting at kilometer 26 because my shin wasn't feeling great. But I was still able to run.
Mais bon, j'arrivais quand même à courir.
We'll head to the Klingenthal aid station. It's a very popular spot from last year because it's quite beautiful, and the teams there are really great. We'll go see Lauriane, who's the station manager there. It's one of the aid stations we haven't had a chance to visit yet to check the setup. So it's always good to see the managers once they've finished their setup to make sure everything is going well. Lauriane, are you doing the night shift? It's still as beautiful as ever. Do the illuminated banners work well? Were they lit up last night? It's nice, right? After 26 kilometers on trails, Marinka arrives at Klingenthal aid station. Elite runners pass through this point an hour and a half earlier.
We're at the Klingenthal aid station. It's about halfway, the 50k course. My name is Thijs Appels and I'm supporting my wife Marinka. And this is our son Skip. A little bit shy sometimes, but we are big supporters of Marinka. Really proud of her. I have to say that, yeah.
It's true that I have had a somewhat tumultuous journey, let's say. But in Colombia, I really had a big realization because there, nature is incredible. During my studies in Colombia, I had the chance to carry out research on plant-based foods. So you should know that we are basically in a family of hunters and butchers, so I've been eating processed meat since we were little. My mother at the time had major health problems, and I told her, listen, if you want, we'll try for 2 weeks. I saw that a plant-based diet could have enormous health benefits. And after those 2 weeks, it was a revelation. And ever since that day, we have never eaten meat again. Pretty good, ready to do 100 kilometers. Let's say that I give a high importance to diet and hydration because I think it's essential. I see it that I really have to be able to gauge and find the balance between treating myself to boost my morale. But on the other hand, over such a long distance, the digestive system slows down so much that I shouldn't go too far because it can quickly slip into a nightmare.
I used to be a swimmer, a competitive swimmer. I once became the national champion in the Netherlands, which was really exciting when I was so young. And I was always very hard on myself, which eventually led to me training way more than that was healthy for me. I didn't know anything about nutrition at all, so I didn't eat as healthy as I should. I thought that very low fat and very low sugar was a healthy diet, but you know, where's the energy I needed to train? It just wasn't there, which led me to become chronically fatigued when I was 16. And it took me at least 8 years to recover properly, to be able to function again. And after that, I felt like there's so much more I can do. I feel like there's more energy within me, but it's just not coming out in one way or the other. So for me, trail running is something that's my way of reconnecting to myself, reconnecting to nature. And when I'm trail running, I'm just within my body, I'm grounded, everything feels just great mostly. And I feel that does help in getting me to a place where running is just fun. It's just my race.
You must give the body what it needs and not forget to take solid food and liquids. I'm going to take a bit of a gamble and run with just a belt. I think I will be one of the only ones at the start line with the belt and flask in hand. I discovered this in America. I love this way of running. I had already tested this at Petit Ballon, so it allows me to have my 1 liter reserve and to have enough between aid stations. To run without having a backpack is really awesome for me. It's a bit of a risky bet because I still have things in my hands. There are some who will tell me that for 50 kilometers it's long, but I want to play and try. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. I think this is a really good opportunity to try it.
I'm thinking about how much water I need during a race. You need between 3 and 4 liters to drink, of course. And I had 2 bottles with 500 milliliters. Every aid station, 1 liter I filled up. Also, I used the gels, of course, so I never got into struggle.
Marie Goncalves is the first woman going through the aid station. We made a nutrition plan. I eat every 30 minutes. You know, I had written on my hand about exactly what I will be eating. A bar and a puree, a gel. And it's good that I had assistance so I could take some more flasks again. There are 2 aid stations with assistance, which is helpful. It's a plus because we don't have to carry all our nutrition. And it's also a bonus for the mind because it motivates me and I have a little information on what's going on at the front and at the back.
I work with a nutritionist and we planned everything to try and get everything as right as possible. I still made some mistakes, but we're gathering information for the season. The time just flew by today. Like before I knew it, I was at the aid station to see my crew and then again the next one. So I think it's also interesting because you're running so much, so you don't have that much chance to like power hike and start, or like, well, not stop, but like go a bit slower and take as much nutrition. So that was a bit different for me.
So far, things are going well. We're halfway there. They are working as a team. They are talking to each other. They will each take turns pacing each other. There's a small gap between them and Anthony. Here comes Anthony. Come on, Anthony. Great. Come on, well done. They're about a minute away. The last descent towards Heidenkopf proves to be a turning point in the race, with the 2 Kenyan runners taking the lead, followed by Anthony Felber, now in 3rd place. Benedikt Hoffmann is less than 2 minutes behind Anthony Felber. Geared up with his poles, Gregory Basilico, now sitting in 6th. It's not easy to be at the front. At the end, for example, I was waiting for someone to tell me that I could relax a little. I was starting to have cramps. I was told not to relax and that the others were only 4 minutes behind. I think it's better to be a hunter than to be hunted. Marie Goncalves is keeping her momentum on the way to Heidenkopf. Megan Mackenzie stays focused, still in 2nd place.
Normally I'm really, like the downhill is my strength, but the mud, the mud played with me. I don't know how to run in mud. I've never been good at it. It's just like psychological in my head. I can't do it. So as soon as there was mud, I was like, oh no. Definitely something that I need to continue working on.
Diane Racineux is powering through this technical stretch of the course despite her injury. It started to feel a bit like hell, but I tried to grind my teeth as much as possible and finish the race. In fact, while going down, I was still going well, despite my fall. I was making a little less progress than at the start, but I was managing to move forward still. On the other hand, I felt that I gradually had a slight loss of energy on the climbs and flat sections. Sammy Chelangat and Kipsang Cheboy maintain their lead, especially fast in the descents.
We control from the starting to 35 kilometers. From 35 there, I saw like I have good energy then. I decided to push a little bit. Yeah, the downhill, I saw my colleagues, they were not good in downhill. So I said, maybe it will be easy for me to win the race, it's the downhill. That's why I push it downhill. For my training, I usually work on downhill mostly.
Sammy Chelangat takes off and is now alone on the trails through Roschheim. After 3 hours, 33 minutes and 31 seconds of racing, Sammy crosses the finish line at Embernay and sets a new course record, improving last year's time by nearly 15 minutes.
Yeah, it's so amazing in France. People are so friendly, so welcoming. Yeah, if they saw you winning in such a race, good race, well, they are so happy. Yeah, and I'm really happy too.
It's just incredible what's going on here. Our Kenyan friends are making me lie because I was saying that usually when they're not too experienced out on the trails, you often see them go very fast because they have an exceptional base speed. And then they break a little at the end. There we've seen Sammy Chelangat, who's just exceptional from start to finish, who shattered the record for the event. We are waiting for Kipsang Cheboy just behind, but as he said, he didn't have anything left in the tank. We have Anthony Felber, who is just 3 minutes behind Kipsang. We also know that he can come back very strong. We have Benedikt Hoffmann, who chased Anthony. We're impatient for the outcome because they should already be there, the second, third, fourth men. After 2 hours and 45 minutes of running, I started to feel it. My legs are really tired. Then I get into my head telling myself, okay, now it's out of my hands. I need to manage my race to stay in third place. And I saw Benedikt gradually getting closer to me.
It was a little bit surprise because I was like 3 minutes behind him. My colleague said me, but I tried to close the gap.
He was gaining second by second, and at the aid station they told me he was right behind me. There were 7 kilometers left to Embernay.
Just after the last 8 stations, I saw him and I crossed him, and then I pushed and pushed until the finish line.
He really sped up to overtake me, and he did it well, so it was tough. I tried to hang on as much as I could, but it was impossible. I was completely drained. I'd given everything. The last 5 kilometers weren't a walk in the park.
And the even bigger surprising was that I saw another Kenyan guy just 2K before the finish line. And yeah, it was also possible to catch him. Of course, there was a moment of happiness to get second then.
It took only 10 minutes for the men's podium to be set. The race for third place was very tight, with Anthony Felber arriving in fourth place, less than 1.5 minutes behind. As I approached the footbridge, I heard the music from the third place finisher crossing the line, and I thought I wasn't too far. A bit frustrated to miss the podium by so little. So there wasn't much missing, and next time it'll be even better.
I managed to be top 3, position 3. That is congratulations for me. I'm proud.
If even more Kenyans take part in trail races, it gets, of course, more competitive. It will be a nice experience how it works. It was great to be a part today of it.
I rarely see sections where runners average 17.7 kilometers an hour. It's fabulous. For the past few years, we've been entering a new era in the world of trail running, and it's just fabulous. We're having a blast, there's performance, it's amazing, and of course we're excited to see the women arrive. We have Goncalves and Mackenzie who are fighting neck to neck. There's less than 4 minutes between them. I thought it was really well done when we reached the top of Oceania. There's a beautiful cross in the vineyards. And I thought, well, you have 800 meters left. Overall, you know at the end, nothing can happen to you. I think 1 kilometer from the finish, I told myself, it's good, enjoy, savor the moment.
Well, I never like to think that I've nailed it until I actually cross the line.
The finish line is beautiful. We were lucky. The weather was great. There was a big crowd, and on top of that, Ludo was on the mic. So for sure, he sets the mood. Lots of emotions. The women's race record was beaten by a few seconds by Marie Goncalves with a race time of 4 hours, 29 minutes, and 31 seconds.
It was also one of those races where I was really proud of everything that I did, and I didn't have any regrets. I knew that I had run strongly, but Marie had run stronger, and that's how it was on the day. So I finished feeling really proud and happy.
I've never finished a race with so many people. It's quite moving. Diane is my teammate, so we're used to going to training camps together. We often talk daily, so I'm really happy to see her finish third. Even though I would have liked her to finish second, it's her first 50K, so it's very promising. Especially at the finish, I saw Marie, so did you win? Yes, it was great, so I'm super happy for her. Okay, let's put your hands in the air, everybody. And here are the top 5 finishers of the men's 50-kilometer race. Here are the women's top 5 for the 50-kilometer race. The race is not over for Thomas, who's heading towards Damabak-la-Ville aid station at kilometer 30. I start to feel my legs a bit, but with the good weather and the right mindset, we have the sun, that's it. The climb we had earlier wasn't hard, but it stretched out for 4 endless kilometers, and now we're gonna eat. I think we have 20 kilometers to the next aid station. And then my family should be there with some good food. Let's go for another 20K. Isn't Alsace beautiful? It's magnificent. There's the sun, it's not too hot, we're under the trees. Life is beautiful. I don't know if I'll say that in a few hours, though. It'll be nice to see them there. I admit it was a bit tough. I was pretty unwell yesterday afternoon. I couldn't eat, it was very difficult. We had fueling at bar, about halfway through. Little wraps, I can't wait. I think we didn't really eat much. In fact, I had only taken sweet things, and at some point it wouldn't go down anymore. No more sweets, and the electrolytes and everything, horrible. I've been waiting for this wrap for 10 kilometers. It really feels good. I think I've never done so much. We're at 64 now. The problem is that I know we have a big climb coming up. 3 big climbs. The first at Saint-Haut will be tough. And the last at the 90th kilometer, another big one. And then normally we run to the finish. That's the plan. We'll see how it goes. After more than 10 hours on the trails, there is another challenge for Thomas: running through the night. Honestly, it's cold. Look, it's clear. We can see the moon. Magnificent. We shouldn't get any rain. What more could you ask for? But what more could you ask for? Life is beautiful. There are 45 kilometers left. What's 45 kilometers in a lifetime? Nothing at all. We're not sure we could have finished if we had done it alone. I'm not sure. If I hadn't been with them, I think I would have given up mentally, morally. At some point, I would have broken. And being together all the time, whenever one of us was struggling, we pulled each other along, and that was magnificent. That's what I was looking for in doing this ultra, and in ultra trail running. It's really about seeing how far I can push my body and also push the mental limits, you see? The real mental limits. And yeah, the physical limits where I was. Honestly, I didn't feel capable physically of doing that. But I told myself, let's try, and we'll see where the mental strength can take us. And in the end, it took us to the end. So it's incredible. It's really incredible.
And then we were close to the 40-kilometer point, to the marathon distance. I've never even ran a road marathon in a race. Almost at a marathon. I was like, hey, if I can make this, I can still make the last 8 kilometers to the finish as well. It doesn't matter how I get there, but I'll get there. It was beautiful and it was hard, and I'm really happy I made it. Very grateful that I was able to do this. And it made me think along the way, like, people have told me I would never do sports again, I would never run again, it just wasn't possible. And, you know, I ran 50K. And that feels amazing, you know, just for me, of course, but I hope it inspires other people to dream big and to always listen to that voice inside, like, there's more possible. Anything's possible, basically.
Yeah, I mean, it's always the best moment of a race because all your effort pays off in this moment.
I've started to accumulate quite a few races under my belt across Europe, and it's rare for a race that's only 2 years old to have so much enthusiasm. Thank you for your warm welcome. Thank you for your smiles. The atmosphere in Alsace is monumental, to be honest.
The winner of today's race is going to be here to see the last finisher.
The course is really beautiful, if not one of my favorite courses, I think. They came to run, to explore, to share, to feel, and they accomplished the extraordinary.